Hi, T. Carlson here, and once again we're going to the vaults with Kino Lorber. They've released a remastered Blu-ray of a Steve McQueen classic from 1968. The movie we're looking at today is The Thomas Crown Affair, co-starring Faye Dunaway. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Nice cover art here. I'm guessing this is probably similar to the original cover art poster that we had back in the day. Inside the package, pretty much just a plain package with a disc. Pretty standard for Kino Lorber releases. I'll read the description of the film as follows. Brand new 4K restoration. Every crime has a personality, something like the mind that planned it, says Vicki Anderson, the sleek insurance investigator trying to figure out the intellect behind a bank robbery so stunning it has Boston's finest completely baffled. Sophisticated, handsome Thomas Crown has only one worry, what persona he will take on tomorrow. But when the genius rogue pulls off a crime-of-the-century bank heist and finds himself pitted against a nemesis as powerful as he is, his devil-may-care attitude hurls him into an edge-of-your-seat game of intrigue and suspense. The Thomas Crown Affair has all the dazzling personality of the intriguing crime it portrays. The great Norman Jewison directed this classic, sexy thriller featuring top-notch cinematography by Haxel Wexler and score by Michael Legrand. Even if you've never seen The Thomas Crown Affair before, the odds are good you've probably at least heard of the movie. Steve McQueen was certainly one of the biggest movie stars of his era. I mean, I don't even have to go over his filmography. The guy is an icon, and Thomas Crown is certainly one of the most iconic characters that he ever got to play. And here he's teamed up with Faye Dunaway. Should probably best be known a few years later for playing the romantic interest in the film Chinatown, but she gives one of her best roles here as well. Seeing the chemistry between these two in their little cat and mouse game certainly escalates the stakes, and the scenes they spend together are the absolute best that this movie has to offer. It is a solid film overall, although it certainly does have some aspects that don't exactly work in its favor. It does feel very dated. It's one of the most 60s looking movies you'll ever see. In addition to the fashions and so forth, there's a lot of these really cheesy split screen effects that are used throughout the film. And while these certainly would have been innovative back in the day, these days they're just a little cringeworthy. And there's also a few subplots and tertiary characters and elements that get a little blown out of proportion, including them trying to blackmail one of Thomas Crown's accomplices to get more information regarding the crime. That said, however, I would have to say the good does still outweigh the bad. Yes, it's dated, maybe a little overdone in places, but it's Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway doing what they do best. Norman Jewison, always a very talented director with quite the filmography under his belt as well. And of course, the title song, The Windmills of Your Mind, sung by Noel Harrison, is a bit of a classic in its own right. Fans of Steve McQueen, I think, will be happy picking up this Blu-ray release from Kino Lorber. I am happy to report that for the most part, the picture quality on here actually looks very good. You got all those bright, bold, vibrant 1960s colors, and they pop right off the screen. Probably the only scenes that really don't look that great are those ones with those split screen effects that I mentioned, just because that's obviously a dated technique, and whenever you have any sort of like optics, generally those don't translate too well to modern transfers and the like. There are a handful of bonus features on here, including some newer featurettes and a vintage one as well, plus a theatrical trailer and an audio commentary track. So anyone interested in picking up this release will be happy to know there are a few additional features, and those are certainly worth watching if you're a fan. For any fan of Steve McQueen, I can certainly recommend this release. Certainly not a perfect film, certainly a dated film, but one that's still a lot of fun to revisit all these years later. Are you a fan of Steve McQueen? Do you think The Thomas Crown Affair was one of his finest films? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.